Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Renuka RS with the evening news. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacts with industries, startups and academia from space sector, says country's endeavour is to ensure benefits of space programme reach the poorest. Agriculture Minister reiterates central government ready for talks with farmers. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh says India far ahead of China in leading the world with ideas. Finance Ministry releases 7th weekly instalment of 6,000 crore rupees to states to meet GST compensation shortfall. And the country's COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 94.98%. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said the country's endeavour is to ensure that the benefits of the space programme reach the poorest. The Prime Minister was interacting with key industries, startups and academia from the space sector through video conferencing to encourage their participation in space activities. Mr. Modi expressed hope that the country would soon become the manufacturing hub of space assets. He said reforms in the space sector are not limited to ensuring ease of doing business, but help is also being provided at each and every stage. The Prime Minister said, just like Indian talent has been able to attain worldwide fame in the IT sector, it will be able to do so in the space sector as well. The Union Cabinet took the historic decision in June this year to open up the space sector and enable participation of the Indian private sector in the entire gamut of space activities. With the creation of the Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Centre in space, the reforms will provide a level playing field for private companies and startups. The Prime Minister thanked the participants for providing feedback about their experience so far. He said the decision to unlock India's potential in the space sector has heralded a new age of public-private partnership in this sector. He assured the participants of complete and wholehearted support of the government in this endeavour.
Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar today reiterated central government's stand that it is ready for talks with farmers. Speaking to reporters in New Delhi after meeting members of the All India Kisan Coordination Committee who had come from Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Maharashtra and Bihar, Mr. Tomar said the government will definitely hold talk if farmer unions' proposal comes. He said the discussions will be held clause by clause. He said the India Kisan Coordination Committee members who met him supported farm bills and gave a letter on the same. The minister said the intentions and policies of the government are towards the welfare of the farmers.
ये कानून किसानों के जीवन स्तर में बदलाव लाने के लिए आए हैं। इन कानूनों के पीछे भारत सरकार की नीति और नियत दोनों सही है और हम लोगों ने किसान यूनियन के साथ बातचीत की है, उनको समझाने का भी प्रयास किया है और हमारी इच्छा है कि वो क्लॉज बाय क्लॉज चर्चा करें और हम लोगों ने जो अपनी तरफ से प्रस्ताव दिए हैं उन पर उनका क्या मत है वो व्यक्त करेंगे तो निश्चित रूप से हम लोग चर्चा को आगे बढ़ाएं।
The All India Kisan Coordination Committee members submitted a memorandum to the Agriculture Minister in favour of the Farm Act. Our correspondent reports the farmers who met the minister were of the opinion that the laws would ensure freedom of choice to farmers in sale and purchase of agri-produce and allow barrier-free trade and commerce outside premises of the agriculture produce marketing committees. These farm reforms, they felt, would also enable farmers to access modern technology, better seeds and other inputs besides attracting private investment into the agriculture sector. More than 7,000 NGOs work under the umbrella of the All India Kisan Coordination Committee.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today said that India is far ahead of China when it comes to leading the world with ideas. He said there can be a serious debate on who owns more military might, but when it comes to soft power, there is no scope of ambiguity. Mr. Singh was addressing the valedictory session of the FICCI annual conclave virtually. The Defence Minister said Indian Armed Forces stood up to the aggression along the Line of Actual Control (LAC) in eastern Ladakh and fought China's People's Liberation Army (PLA) with utmost bravery, forcing it to go back. He asserted that the coming generations of this nation will be proud of what our forces have managed to achieve this year. Mr. Singh said, whenever there is a situation at the LAC, the most obvious outcome is a comparison between India and China's military strength. The Defence Minister said the unprovoked aggression on our Himalayan frontiers is a reminder of how the world is changing, how existing agreements are being challenged, how power is being asserted not just in the Himalayas but across the Indo-Pacific. Mr. Singh said India has been a victim of cross-border terrorism, yet it fought the scourge alone, even when there was no one to support it. But later they understood that we were right about Pakistan being the fountainhead of terrorism. He said the government has taken various steps to deal effectively with the COVID-19 pandemic. He said financial assistance and food security have been provided to the needy people during the COVID-19 crisis. Mr. Singh said Atmanirbhar Bharat package, which is worth 20 lakh crore rupees, have provided relief to the poor, workers and small industries and helped in mitigating the effects of COVID-19. He said Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan is a watershed moment in India under which several historic policy decisions have been taken. Allaying the fear of farmers, the minister said there is no question of taking retrograde steps against the agriculture sector.
Our produce and procurement have been plentiful and our warehouses are full. There is no question of taking retrograde steps against our agricultural sector either. The recent reforms have been undertaken with the best interests of India's farmers in mind. We are always willing to listen to our farmer brothers, allay their misgivings, provide them with assurances we can provide. Our government is always open to discussion and dialogue.
In Jammu and Kashmir, 2 Pakistani terrorists were gunned down and 1 associate arrested in a joint operation launched by security forces at Poshana area in the mountainous Poonch district yesterday. Giving details about the successful operation, Lieutenant Colonel Keshav Sharma said a huge quantity of arms and ammunition including 2 AK-47 rifles were recovered from their possession.
इन्होंने हमारी पार्टी पर फायरिंग शुरू कर दी, जिससे कि हमें जवाबी कार्रवाई में इन पर फायरिंग करनी पड़ी। फायरिंग के दौरान दोनों आतंकवादी मुठभेड़ में मारे गए। इनसे 2 AK-47, 6 AK-47 की मैगजीन, 300 AK-47 एम्यूनिशन, 1 UBGL, 1 थुराया सेट, 12 ग्रेनेड, 300 ग्राम एक्सप्लोसिव मटेरियल, 3 मोबाइल फोन और 26,000 रुपए कैश में बरामद हुए। भारतीय सेना आतंकवाद के खिलाफ देश की मुहिम पर प्रतिबद्ध है।
INS Himgiri, the first of 3 state-of-the-art naval ships being built by the Garden Reach Shipbuilders and Engineers Limited (GRSE) under Project 17A, was launched in Kolkata today. Himgiri made first contact with the waters of Hooghly River at 1:35 p.m. at the launch ceremony where Chief of Defence Staff General Bipin Rawat was the chief guest. In keeping with naval traditions, the ship was launched by General Bipin Rawat's wife, Madhulika Rawat, to the chanting of invocations from the Atharva Ved. Under the Project 17A program, a total of 7 ships, 4 at Mazgaon Dock Shipbuilders Limited and 3 ships at GRSE are being built with enhanced stealth features. The first trilateral working group meeting between India, Iran and Uzbekistan on the joint use of Chabahar Port was held virtually today. The meeting was jointly chaired by Secretary Shipping Sanjeev Ranjan in Government of India, Deputy Minister of Transport of Uzbekistan D. Dekhanov and Deputy Transport Minister of Iran Shahram Adamnejad. External Affairs Ministry in a statement said that during the meeting the participants discussed joint use of Chabahar Port for trade and transit purposes and enhanced regional connectivity. All sides also noted the significant role played by Chabahar Port for the region to deliver humanitarian assistance during the COVID pandemic. It said all sides also welcomed India's proposal to hold Chabahar Day on the sidelines of the International Maritime Summit, scheduled to be hosted by India in January 2021.
BJP has swept Zilla Panchayat polls in Goa. Polls were held on Saturday and counting was held today. More from our Panaji correspondent.
In North Goa Jilla Panchayat elections, BJP secured sweeping victory by winning 19 seats out of 25. In South Goa, BJP won 14 seats out of 24. Congress won only 1 seat in North Goa and 3 seats in South Goa. Out of 50 Jilla Panchayat constituencies, polling did not take place in 2. Polling was cancelled in Naveli due to the death of a candidate, while in Sakwale, the BJP candidate won unopposed. In all, 200 candidates were in fray. The elections were held on ballot papers. With Tushar Jadhav, Mukesh Thalif, AIR News, Panaji, Goa.
In Kerala, high polling was reported today in the third phase of local body elections. According to official sources, overall 78.02% of voting was reported in the 4 districts when reports last came in. More from our Thiruvananthapuram correspondent.
As per the voters' turnout figures from State Election Commission, 78.43% polling is recorded in Malappuram district, 78.26% in Kozhikode, 77.82% in Kannur and 76.52% in Kasaragod. Voting has been peaceful throughout the districts. Counting of first, second and third phase of local polls in the state is scheduled on 16th December. Mayusha for AR News from Thiruvananthapuram.
The BJP today said the farmers of the country are with the party while referring to results of the Goa Zilla Panchayat elections and other recent local body polls. Citing the party's victory in the recent Bihar Assembly elections and local body polls in Rajasthan, Himachal Pradesh and other parts of the country, BJP spokesperson Sambit Patra told media in New Delhi that the party has won these elections because farmers, labourers and the poor are standing with the BJP.
समानतः आपको देखने को मिलेगा कि जो पार्टी सरकार में होती है राजस्थान में, जिला और पंचायत स्तर के चुनावों में जीत उसी का होता है, ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में जीत उसी की होती है। किंतु अपने आप में ये ट्रेडिशन से अलग हटते हुए कांग्रेस की सरकार होते हुए भी भारतीय जनता पार्टी इन तमाम ग्रामीण चुनावों में कांग्रेस से वोट प्रतिशत और सीट अधिक लेकर आती है, ये अपने आप में कुछ कहता है।
Mr. Patra accused the Congress, Aam Aadmi Party and others of misleading the protesting farmers over the farm laws. He reiterated the BJP's commitment to the welfare of farmers.
You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacts with industries, startups and academia from space sector. First country's endeavour is to ensure benefits of space program reach the poorest. Agriculture Minister reiterates central government ready for talks with farmers. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh says India far ahead of China and leading world with ideas. Finance Minister releases 7th weekly instalment of 6,000 crore rupees to states to meet GST compensation shortfall. And the country's COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 94.98%. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे।
Welcome back. The Finance Ministry has released the 7th weekly installment of 6,000 crore rupees to the states to meet the GST compensation shortfall. Out of this, an amount of 5,516 crore and 60 lakh rupees has been released to 23 states and an amount of 483 crore and 40 lakh rupees has been released to the 3 union territories with Legislative Assembly, Delhi, Jammu and Kashmir and Puducherry, which are members of the GST Council. The remaining 5 states, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland and Sikkim, do not have a gap in revenue on account of GST implementation. The amount released this week was the 7th installment of such funds provided to the states. So far, an amount of 42,000 crore rupees has been borrowed by the central government through the special borrowing window.
The national COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 94.98% in the past 24 hours. With 30,605 new discharges, the total discharged cases reached 93,88,159. With 27,071 new COVID-19 cases in 24 hours, India's total cases have gone up to 98,84,100. The Health Ministry said with 336 new deaths in 24 hours, death toll has reached to 1,43,355. AIIMS Director Dr. Randeep Guleria has appealed to all the nurses and nursing officers not to go on strike and to come back to work to get through the pandemic. Dr. Guleria said it is unfortunate that the union has gone on a strike now with only a few months left when a vaccine is expected. Earlier, AIIMS Nurses Union announced an indefinite strike from today over redressal of their demands, including that related to the 6th Central Pay Commission. Karnataka reported 830 new COVID-19 cases today. At the same time, 2,164 recoveries and 10 corona deaths were reported. The total number of active cases in the state stands at 16,065. More from our Bengaluru correspondent.
Karnataka is showing steady improvement in the pandemic situation as the positivity and fatality rate comes down. The state reported a positivity rate of 1.27% and case fatality rate of 1.20%. The recovery rate in the state is over 96%. The COVID tests conducted today were 64,855, out of which 59,601 were RT-PCR tests. The authorities are ensuring that there is social distancing, people wear masks in crowded places, and the premises is kept clean. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar today said that India has handled the coronavirus situation very well. Addressing the International Coronavirus Short Film Festival in New Delhi, Mr. Javadekar said the COVID-19 pandemic crisis was identified very quickly by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in January itself, and he countered it with visionary zeal through the whole year and succeeded in controlling and mitigating the situation.
देश के 4 वैक्सीन तैयार हो रहे हैं तो शायद महीने भर में आएगा, लेकिन एक नया भी ख्याल करने की जरूरत है। एक बार वैक्सीन लिया तो हम फ्री हो गए, कहीं भी जाएंगे, कुछ भी करेंगे, ऐसा नहीं है। एंटीबॉडीज तैयार होने को दूसरा डोज भी लेना पड़ता है और उसके बाद भी 28 दिन यानी दोनों मिलकर 2 महीने पहला वैक्सीन लेने के बाद भी हमें खुद की तंदुरुस्ती का ख्याल रखना पड़ेगा।
Mr. Javadekar said the International Film Festival of India will take place in hybrid mode from the 16th to the 24th of January next year in Goa. Speaking on the occasion, Minority Affairs Minister Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi said the government, society, cinema and media in India have played a commendable role with courage, commitment and caution during the corona pandemic.
लघु फिल्मों ने, टेलीविजन चैनल्स ने बहुत ही इफेक्टिव तरीके से अपनी रिस्पांसिबिलिटी को पूरा किया और उससे भी महत्वपूर्ण है समाज ने जिस संयम, जिस सावधानी की समाज को जरूरत थी उसको पूरी तरह से निभाया और प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने इस पूरी लड़ाई में एक अग्रणी योद्धा की भूमिका निभाई।
More than 2,800 films from 108 countries are participating in the International Coronavirus Short Film Festival. These short films are based on cure, safety measures and lives during the corona pandemic.
In Tamil Nadu, 2,000 mini clinics have been launched today. Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy inaugurated them at a function held in Chennai this morning. He said these clinics will serve the poorest of the poor even in the remotest part of the state. More from our Chennai correspondent.
The new health facilities have been named as the Amma Mini Clinics, where Amma is considered a reference to the late AIADMK leader J. Jayalalitha. Each clinic will be having a qualified doctor, a nurse and a medical attendant. They will be equipped to attend primary health issues. The State Health Department has said those who require further treatment would be sent to the nearby referral hospitals. The Medical Services Recruitment Board is in the process of selecting additional doctors and paramedical staff to cater the increasing requirements. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
In our special series Year Ender 2020, today we are bringing you a report on Ayushman Bharat. The government has taken healthcare protection to a new aspirational level with the launch of Ayushman Bharat. A report.
With the launch of Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on 23rd September 2018 at Ranchi, India took a giant leap towards providing accessible and affordable healthcare to the common man. The world's largest government-funded healthcare program targets more than 50 crore beneficiaries. In his address at Arogya Manthan event in New Delhi, Mr. Modi had said, Ayushman Bharat is one of the revolutionary steps of New India in saving the lives of the common man and poor of the country.
आयुष्मान भारत न्यू इंडिया के क्रांतिकारी कदमों में से एक है। आयुष्मान भारत ने सिद्ध कर दिया कि जब भारत की सामूहिक ताकत अगर कहीं पर भी लग जाती है तो उसका लाभ और शक्ति बहुत व्यापक हो जाती है, विराट हो जाती है। आयुष्मान भारत देश के किसी भी हिस्से के मरीज को देश के किसी भी कोने में लाभ सुनिश्चित करती है और जो पहले असंभव था। यही कारण है कि बीते एक वर्ष में करीब 50,000 लाभार्थियों ने अपने राज्य के बाहर दूसरे राज्यों में इस योजना का लाभ लिया।
The scheme provides a cover of up to 5 lakh rupees per family per year for secondary and tertiary care hospitalization. The cashless and paperless access to services for the beneficiary are at the point of service. It helps to reduce hospital expenditure and mitigate the financial risk for the needy. Through the two wings of Ayushman Bharat, the Health and Wellness Centers and the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, quality healthcare has been made affordable and accessible. Over 51,500 health and wellness centers are now functional. It has led to improved access to affordable primary healthcare services for more than 25 crore people. The aim is to establish 1.5 lakh such centers by December 2022. Ayushman Bharat is a progression towards promotive, preventive, curative, palliative and rehabilitative aspect of universal healthcare through engagement with both public and private sector. Anupam Mishra, AIR News, Delhi.
Speaking exclusively to AIR News, Ayushman Bharat CEO Dr. Indu Bhushan said, Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana has completed 2 years and close to 1.5 crore people have availed treatment. He said during COVID-19, people availed testing and treatment under the scheme.
Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana has been now running for more than 2 years, and in these 2 years, close to 1.5 crore treatments have been given at the cost of about 18,000 crores, and close to 25,000 hospitals have been empaneled providing these services. And during the COVID, Ayushman Bharat has helped in terms of testing for COVID and treatments for large number of people.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi is visiting Gujarat tomorrow to lay foundation stones for several development projects in the state. These projects include the world's biggest renewable energy park, which is being set up close to the Indo-Pak border near Khavda village in Kutch district, a desalination plant, a fully automated milk processing plant of Sarhad Dairy, and a packing plant.
The Indian Railways, through its 21 railway recruitment boards, RRBs, is organizing mega recruitment drive in 3 phases starting from tomorrow for filling up of about 1.4 lakh vaccines. According to the Ministry of Railways, more than 2.44 crore candidates will be appearing in different cities across the country. The ministry said the first phase of the exam will commence from tomorrow till 18th of this month for isolated and ministerial categories. This will be followed by NTPC categories from 28th of December to tentatively till March 2021, and the third phase recruitment for level 1 from tentatively April onwards till June 2021. RRBs have made extensive preparations for conducting examinations of this large scale in COVID-19 pandemic times, following SOPs as laid down by the government, ensuring social distancing, compulsory use of masks, sanitizers, curtailing shifts for conducting exams to only 2 shifts per day. The ministry said candidates will be checked for temperature at entry using thermoguns, and candidates have temperature more than prescribed limits will not be allowed inside the exam venue. Intimation in this regard will also be sent to their registered email and mobile number regarding rescheduling of such candidates. Candidate will have to produce COVID-19 self-declaration in prescribed format at the entry, and in absence of the same, he or she will not be allowed into the exam venue. Proper arrangement of crowd management will be made as per COVID-19 protocol from the main gate to the exam halls. After each shift, the exam center will be sanitized before starting next shift.
While many of us struggle to remember capital cities of more than a dozen countries, close to 3-year-old Niara Jain from Maharashtra's Chandrapur district can easily recall capital cities of at least 45 Asian countries. Besides, she also remembers currencies and identifies a wide variety of animal species, flowers and vegetables. More about this wonder girl from our Mumbai correspondent.
At the age of 2 years and 9 months, when children are still learning to leap, run and speak, Chandrapur's wonder girl Niara Jain can name capital cities of about 145 countries. She can identify national flags and their currencies, besides reciting names of fruits, vegetables, planets, animals, etc. Her achievements have received appreciation from Bravo International Book of World Records, among many others. Here is what her mother, Sakshi Jain, had to say.
जब से वो 3-4 महीने की हुई तब से हमने उसको काफी प्रिपेयर किया है. कभी उसको हमने स्क्रीन टाइम नहीं दिया, मोबाइल, टीवी, काफी हमने भी मेहनत की और उसने भी काफी अच्छे से ग्रास्प किया और हमें रिस्पॉन्स दिया. इंडिया बुक ऑफ रिकॉर्ड्स में, ब्रेवो इंटरनेशनल बुक ऑफ वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड्स में, दोनों में ही उसका अप्रिसिएशन हुआ है और उसका नाम आएगा नेक्स्ट ईयर वाले पब्लिकेशन में.
With Mangesh Bele, this is Nisha Rani for AIR News, Mumbai.
Assam Education Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma says that 189 high madrasas and other madrasas in the state will operate as any other general educational institute. Talking to newspersons in Guwahati, the minister said that no admission to students for theological studies would be given. It may be recalled that the Assam cabinet yesterday approved the proposal to close down government-run madrasas and Sanskrit tolls. Mr. Sharma said that while Sanskrit tolls would be handed over to Kumar Bhaskar Verma Sanskrit and Ancient Studies University, the government-run madrasas would be converted into high schools.
Higher education institutions are set to open in Uttarakhand from tomorrow. Prior to the opening, the state government has issued the Standard Operating Procedures SOP. According to Chief Secretary Om Prakash, the students coming from outside the state will have to get an RT-PCR COVID test done. Only those will be permitted to join the institution who will test negative, besides students who will have to submit consent letter from their parents. The SOP further states that nodal officers authorized by the respective institution and district authorities will ensure smooth functioning of the entire procedure. The Karnataka Legislative Council will meet for a day tomorrow to complete the pending business. Council Chairman Pratap Chandra Shetty had adjourned the proceedings sine die on Thursday. BJP sources say that the one-day session is called to move a no-confidence motion against the council chairman. The 75-member council has 31 BJP members, Congress 29 and JDS has 14 members. The leader of the opposition in the Legislative Council, S.R. Patil, has called a legislative party meeting tomorrow morning. All the Congress members will be issued a whip and asked to be present in the House tomorrow. JDS is yet to make it clear whether it is in the favour or against the no-confidence motion that BJP is likely to move tomorrow. Our correspondent adds that BJP will need the support of JDS to win the no-confidence motion against Pratap Shetty, who is from Congress.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital will have moderate fog with temperatures varying between 8 and 21 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle and temperature will vary between 23 and 27 degrees. Chennai is likely to have a generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle and temperature will hover between 22 and 31. Kolkata is likely to have fog in the morning and mainly clear sky later and temperature will vary between 17 and 26 degrees. Onto the north, Jammu will have a mainly clear sky, temperature will hover between 10 degrees and 21 degrees. Srinagar is likely to have a partly cloudy sky becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening or night. Temperature will hover between -2 degrees and 9 degrees Celsius. In Leh, there will be partly cloudy sky and temperature will vary between -13 degrees and 2 degrees. Gilgit will have a partly cloudy sky becoming generally cloudy towards afternoon or evening or night with temperature varying between 0 degrees Celsius to 12 degrees. Muzaffarabad will witness clear sky and temperature will vary between 1 to 13 degrees Celsius. Dehradun will witness fog or mist in the morning and mainly clear sky later with temperature hovering between 9 and 23 degrees Celsius. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacts with industries, startups and academia from space sector, says country's endeavour is to ensure benefits of space program reach the poorest. Agriculture Minister reiterates central government ready for talks with farmers. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh says India far ahead of China in leading the world with ideas. Finance Ministry releases 7th weekly instalment of 6,000 crore rupees to states to meet GST compensation shortfall, and the country's COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 94.98%. And with that we end the evening news. Good night.